to have anxious attachment style really, 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 really bad, you guys. Especially when I was younger. And typically you attract very narcissistic relationships when you have anxious attachment style. And then I was in that relationship for like 2 years, and then I changed to anxious avoidant because he was super avoidant. So I picked up very negative and bad habits from that relationship. And then after I became anxious avoidant, I realized, oh my god, people actually don't live like this. Like, it is genuinely something that is built when it comes to something in your childhood trauma. You didn't get that level of love and attention that you needed. And I just thought genuinely, and this is so crazy, I genuinely thought everyone experienced like anxious attachment or avoidant attachment. Like, yes, I've always heard people talking about you can become secure, but I genuinely thought like that was just something that I don't know. I was just so oblivious. And then it got to a point where I was talking to someone and I realized the triggers would come up when it came to anxious attachment style. And I started to feel like, oh my god, okay, where is this coming from? The moment, I'm telling you, that I went inward and I wasn't seeking anything outside of myself, I wasn't sending text messages, or I wasn't trying to get validation, because that's what would happen in the past. Anytime I would experience that level of anxiety, I would be like, oh, let's go through my phone, who can I text, like, you know, where can I get this dopamine hit from, who can I go, what other guy can I go hang out with, and, you know, get that same rush that I did with that other person. And that was the way that I would cope with this, and it was just a cycle that kept repeating itself. I'm telling you, the moment that I went inward and I actually faced off with that anxiety, and I'm like, no, I'm actually not going to text anyone, I'm not going to go out, I'm not going to, you know, drunk text. I mean, it was like night and day. I was like, wow, like, I actually felt peace. When you self-soothe, and what I mean by self-soothe, because a lot of people didn't talk about it, I would lay in my bed. Personally for me, I love laying in bed. I love being horizontal, so I would put my headphones on, I would lay in bed, and I would put like music that would make me feel really, really, really good. I would visualize me being my younger self and my higher self and source basically coming to me and like hugging me and basically giving me the love and affection that I was never actually given at the time. And we would all sit together, and the scenery that I would create, it would be like by an ocean, but at nighttime, and like all these lights. This is what I do. I don't know if anyone else does this, but I create this whole entire like spiritual world within my own mind, and we all sit together, and basically we're all like, you know, holding space for each other. That's the best way that I can describe it. And I'm basically my younger self feeling all of these emotions of, oh, I am lovable, I am worthy. Like, it doesn't define me because I'm getting the love and attention from myself and aspects of who I am, my higher self, my younger self, source, basically God, because we are all God, like one, but we're, it's different levels I view God as like one entity, and we're all aspects and parts of that entity. You can view it as like the body, like someone's a finger, someone's a nail, someone's an eyeball, like, so it's all coming from within. The moment that I did that, I actually healed my anxious attachment. And I'm telling you guys, it is like night and day. You do not have to live feeling anxiety, especially when it comes to relationships in your life. Now, it is so crazy, and I don't know what it is either, because the moment that I like healed that aspect and part of myself, it was like everyone then started coming towards me. Even now, like, I'm able to actually have these standards and boundaries for myself that I always knew that I would. Like, I'm not going on a date with anybody that I do not actually see as husband or partner, soulmate worthy, where in the past I would, but that's because anxious attachment style / avoidant was like running my life. I had no control over those types of emotions, so I would just kind of spiral and give my attention to like anyone that was triggering that for me. Now it's like, oh, I leave messages on read all the time. Anybody that does not meet my standards, like, I'll send a very direct message basically saying that, you know, we have two completely separate lifestyles and expectations, and, you know, in the past I wouldn't do that. I would probably just like ghost and maybe spin the block again sometime whenever I needed another dopamine hit. Now, like, no, everything is direct communication. And I just want you guys to know, like, you can go through your life feeling like things are very normal, and you can get to a point and recognize it's not normal and actually change it. And I know that sounds very hard to believe. I've had people in my past friendships, basically they had this mindset or mentality that because they do it, every single person must do that or be like that because of their own experience. And at the same time, their experience is very valid because they went through that, okay? But at the same time, if you have a completely different lifestyle from somebody, it will be very hard to grasp and understand that you can actually change and experience something completely different than what you've ever known before. But that's why it's so important to have people in your life that are very different than you. And in the past, I was not like that at all. I genuinely wanted people that had the same interest, or we shared the same interest, or we had very similar perspectives or viewpoints. But the more that you experience different types of individuals and people, it literally will broaden your level of life and understanding and compassion towards other individuals, and it will actually give you hope to become a better version of yourself. Just listening to somebody's story and what they've been through, and, you know, how they've overcame obstacles, or what they're even going through now, it's gonna be a completely different soul imprint than you. And just seeing how someone has the complete opposite of opinions than you. Like I said, I used to not want this. I would get so defensive, or I'd feel so triggered when other people weren't necessarily like me, or I would honestly get so down when I was like, wow, they like don't really understand. But that's not for them to actually understand. It's for you to go on your own journey and understand that and do everything that you need to do, and they're there to express their own soul imprint and what they're supposed to do. And we all inspire each other based off of expressing our true authenticity. I pull so much inspiration and, you know, confidence from seeing other people like fully in their own element. Even if I don't like it, I don't have to love it, but I can look and be like, wow, they're truly walking in like their true authenticity. And that energy is so beyond like infectious. Is that the right word? Like, it genuinely lights up my own soul, because we all have that. It's just about tapping into it, and like seeing someone else will give you the hope, motivation, and inspiration to do it yourself. And another thing is, like, there's a difference from actually talking about it, or, you know, oh, I'm gonna do this, and then actually doing it or experiencing it as well.